Hello, everybody. We are back with some bedtime Arcturian philosophy. Guess what happened? Why am I outside? Yeah, I'm outside because well, something to learn. Word to the wise. I already knew this, but you see, in order to tell this story, you can create openings for things. So, by talking about it, as soon as I was done with the video, the last one, Kryon said to me, Krista, that in the air conditioning, it's in the air conditioning, get out now, get out now. And I realized I was holding my chest for a second there before he said that, and I said, oh good! And I went, and sure enough, the light was on in the other room and everything. The Grace will actually put it there and say, away, see, yeah, if you actually want to live, go away. But, I'm sitting on the balcony because I'm like, well, I'm gonna live no matter what. You try and make me want to die, you try and make me want to live, you try and make you whatever, but I make you do what I want, period. Because I say so. And because I have a cool plastic blue lightsaber, god damn it. Yeah. Blue one, not the red one, blue one. Blue. Yeah, it's blue. Yeah. So, cool, sit here with my cool plastic blue lightsaber while you fuckers do whatever inside the house and laugh about it. Curing battle fatigue from your own book. No. I said hacker, oh, mirror on the wall, who's the best hacker of them all? What you're trying to do is just trying to hack into my personal system. That's what you're trying to do. You all suck at it. All suck. All the way around. All suck at it. Because now I'm going to go on a total Nietzsche thing and be like, yeah, I'm the best. Because he was like that. So, yeah, I'm the best. Because obviously I've got to be the best in this area because I'm still freaking alive after having all this stuff sprayed at me and crap done to me and whatever different things. It's, no, I am alive. I am that I am. Before this, I said out on the balcony here that I'm sitting on, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, you must leave. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, you must leave. In the name of Christ Jesus, you must leave. And when you say that, and you mean it like Jesus half Pleiadian style, they have to respond. They must respond to that. There is nobody who can kind of dance around when you actually say with total, utter power, like Jesus, in the name of Christ Jesus, you must leave Satan. It's just like in the Bible. That's why Satanists really hate Jesus, because yeah, it's like puts out a bunch of fires and stuff. So I ran out here and was like, okay, cool, Kryon, so what are we going to do outside? And he points this out to me, hey, you got a lightsaber? Why don't you play with the lightsaber? Like, a certain someone who may or may not be half aware of what they're doing on the Ashtar command said they'd go do to prepare for their next task, because we just let people, do whatever they feel like doing. For me, I know that I sit inside of an incubator a lot of the time. Because of the onslaught on my body. I go between a thing that looks like a console and an incubator, in order to make sure and keep her body alive, to reinforce me staying alive. And they used some really interesting technology for all this. They had me look very carefully at the mockery on the Pal Bart station in San Francisco, closet of curiosities or something like that, and it was all brain implantation and stuff. And they said, wait, Krista, their clocks, their gauges, stare at them. They always make these things pretty accurate, especially someone that would have been an artist doing this. They wouldn't have done it wrong. Now, would you do it that way? And I said, no. Just like all the kids, that's like the videos, the music videos that have stuff in them. Even though Katy Perry, she tried to fight. I think she kind of stuff might have happened, but she really was a fighter. Without her music, I wouldn't have made it out of that place, I don't think. Also, Kelly Clarkson, you could tell she was a fighter, too, trying to fight out. Eminem tried to fight out, but I think he kind of, something happened to him at the same time with Katy Perry. So, I'm going to hang out on the balcony and wake up all the neighbors as if they were sleeping anyway, and we're gonna rule the world. Or actually not, well, we the Arcturians, but it's not we the Arcturians ruling the world, it's the Galactic Federation of Light, and I'm one of the strongest human emissaries, I guess, is whatever the deal is. It's something similar to this, where I have some, there's something about me where it's just set in stone, literally set in the crystal, like set in stone, that you stay alive during this, and then your name is going to be exactly like Lisa DeHope said. Krista Howard will be a household name. That was what she said. And it's like, yes, that will happen. I hope Lisa DeHope's okay. Speaking of her, because she outright predicted that, and I am the only person who's not been, taken in by the devil. Or, if you know that it's reptilian, good. If you don't and think you've been captured by the devil, that works too. Whatever it takes to get out of whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because you create your own reality. So, see, by talking about stuff, I create it. So, see, that was why they tried to stop me putting up my happy announcement that I am the queen. Like Bill the King. Well, I am a queen. In the Arcturian societies, it's kind of like everybody is a prince, princess, king, or queen of some type. It's like a title or something. Almost. But it does, when it's king or queen, it does denote some kind of, like a special title before someone, or like saying Dr. So-and-so, which is, for me, yes. The people that have been following me would know all the doctor jokes with me. I was shown lots of stuff from Doctor Who to get me to understand this. And the best one is too low tech. That is the best one. Like, because Kryon says that, and he says, Krista, if you need to outsmart them, you just go back to the basics. You go back to the completely basic, and that confuses them because it's too basic. And that's why humans are so wonderful, like he says. So I have to learn to kind of actively channel with him. That's going to be interesting. I mean, people who followed Kryon and suddenly get told, hey, did you know that this is what actually went on with Kryon, and then that's why my area got overrun, because I was getting the information out and they didn't like it and something, and on the stopping nuclear war thing, and that was Kryon really was in on that. All the Kryon fans, Kryon was majorly in on stopping nuclear war. Lover of humanity. He does not want nuclear war. But he kind of needed a person to help too, so the Ashtar Command, all that, they needed, a person to be in on the whole thing, because they can't invade a planet. To them, they can't invade a planet. They're not going to just go invade a planet. It's against their ethics. So, if they go to the planet, and to be born on the planet as one of the people there, without any memory or anything. It's completely like, okay, fair game. You have no memory of ever being something else. You think completely, okay, I'm on this planet, I live here, which I do, so there it is. I live on this planet, I am here. And then when you figure out, oh, okay, so I was or am an Arcturian type thing. So I'm an Arcturian and I'm on the planet for a specific reason, and okay. Then when you have that kind of configuration, that's really what allows them to pull out the big guns. And when I say pull out the big guns, I mean it backwards, which is stop the big guns. They can stop the biggest guns by the will or intent of the people that were the most screwed up. It's like an exchange of energy. People can say, oh, they, hate me, but once the people who are enslaved by reptilians, or once reptilians start walking around and everyone starts becoming telepathic, and they figure out that, oh, everyone hates this girl, it's because she stopped nuclear war? Really? And oh my god! And her own family tried to assassinate her? And it was satanic programming the whole time, and whoa! And she actually wanted to try and fight and live, and actually wanted to try and keep doing it, and she just kept on no matter what. Wow. Apparently I'm going to live to see that in my lifetime. Apparently I will live to actually see people say, how did you do it? Kryon's telling me, come up with an answer for that, because you're going to get asked, how did you do it? How did you do it? By other people. And right now my answer is I don't exactly know, so he's telling me, come up with an answer for that. Well, that's what I can do, like hanging out on the porch tonight, on the little balcony, figure out, with my lightsaber, with my plastic blue lightsaber, figure out what I'm going to say to people when they ask me that, because I've noticed that when Kryon says stuff, especially now that Kryon is not, hooked up to stuff and imprisoned and being forced to channel and in a reptilian body, now that he's back in his old Lyran himself, he is able to be more free with the information, but because I don't know any of the math or stuff for him to tell me, it's far harder to convey that. But he says, continue thinking about the connection between me and Metatron, and because I can't find the Metatron book, I honestly don't care if someone took it, because I hated it anyway. I just thought something's wrong, and that's why Kryon keeps saying, you're onto something with Metatron. He will never actually totally tell me the answer, but he'll put me on the right track. And then he says, that's what's so great about humans. All you have to do is just give them one little hint, and they'll find it. They'll find it. You think they're these primitive creatures. They're not. And you've got an example right there. And you want to think of it as a lab rat experiment. Well, I think of it as a bright star of light. And I'm going to make her so, because she wants to be so. So that's nice to know that there's somebody that a lot of people really like on my side, because it's true. If it were not for Kryon, I totally would not be alive. Or if not for his tips in the right direction, his hints in the right directions, I just would not be alive. And he said, I guess he was hoping that I would figure it out. Or he said, what he said at the end of the intercept was, I knew you would figure it out. I knew you would figure it out, because I guess he had been secretly doing all of these calculations while imprisoned and being forced to channel the information to Lee Carroll. who would not call me back when I'm calling them saying, hi, I'm kind of imprisoned over the Kryon material. I don't know what side you're on, but can I buy book 13? and see, Kryon had told me, don't buy book 13, but I was just like, I guess. I have the money to be able to do it, and it would be interesting to read some of your stuff and see if it's actually you or not, because then I knew that if I read it, I would know if it was Kryon or not, because I could tell by that point, because he just talks to me. He said, don't buy it. You don't need to, or that I'll tell you what to actually, if you actually buy anything, I'll tell you what to buy. But eventually people will know some stuff about him that will be like a major shocker. And Kryon says this only in book 1. He actually says it in 2 places. One is numbers and one is letters. And the letters I won't say because it's just too obvious that way. But he says 11 and 33 will tell you about me. If you want to know who or what I am, 11 and 33. For people who, if this means anything to you, kind of the way he does that, if this means anything to you, there was someone in 1992, a woman, who activated the entire grid. And also, what was really funny is that before I got totally harassed and the town got taken over, I suddenly stood there and I stood on the front door and I said, I want my grid back. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I want my grid back. And I was thinking of my personal grid, but see, that extends to the world, technically. And so I did quote, get it back, because what was happening was I was having trouble with whatever the heck was in my foot, a foot implant or whatever in my foot. And I just said, I want my grid back. I want my grid back, because somehow Kryon managed to get through to me. What the implants do is they scramble the messages from your own soul stream. That's what they seem to do. It's so the information will end up being half right. If you're trying really hard to resist it, you'll get correct information, but it'll be backwards, or it's something satanically screwed up, or weird satanic jokes in the middle of it. But it will also be part true. And all that is it's your soul stream. Your soul stream is trying to talk to you. Your soul's trying to talk to you and get it right, and something is trying to limit it. Kryon says, once you let the place air out, go get where I talk about the implants in book 1, because he was kind of, I'd have to ask him about this, if he was doing this willingly at the time, or if he was doing it, knowing, having a plan in mind, or what. But see, he talks about asking for an implant, having an imprint, and asking for an implant. And when I would read that and say, that doesn't sound right, Kryon. What's up with that? But there was so much that was right, that sounded perfectly right, that I just said, okay, well, whatever with this. Okay, I knew to leave the information. I knew that this just doesn't sound right. But apparently something along those lines will help some people who have to deal with this. Because see, when you prove to be really pesky, you really try and break out of the system. They try to do some things to you hardware-wise, and you can actually break the hardware with your own spirit. And somehow Kryon had managed to get. I would keep hearing, they're hacking the signal. We can't. They're hacking your signal. And somehow he managed to get through to me that it's your consciousness grid is messed up, and the thought of my grid is messed up, and I just said, I want my grid back. I didn't know to say it 3 times or anything. I just said, I want my grid back. Thinking of my consciousness grid, I want it back. So um, whatever these kinds of limiters like implants and such do, something along the lines of affecting your consciousness grid. So, oh, okay, Kryon says this is something cool that you can do along with the 666 transmutation thing. That would be really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do that because we should go as our bliss, like as the teachers say. Which, even though I've said yeah, every single teacher that you watch on YouTube has been infiltrated and stuff, and had satanic programming happen to them and stuff happened to me too. Yeah, I mean they catch us at birth and do stuff to us to try and stop us. Even though everybody right now either is a reptilian or is an imprisoned like Arcturian or Pleiadian or something like that, or like willingly going along with everything and sending me stuff to try to kill me or whatever. Even though they are doing that, I wouldn't know anything that I know without them. So, as Arcturians would say, we salute you. We salute your service. No matter what your service has been, we salute your service, because none of what I've done would be possible without them. Especially for ones who were so gifted and so special that they freaked so many people out that everything possible was done to them to, drive them insane, and they managed to walk out the other side. That person has the power to walk out again, and they will. That person will walk out again. That Kryon says that is real. That is real. You will walk out. Probably listening. You may be listening to me right now. You will walk out. And he shows me again like something that's very sudden. That's like the story of Paul getting out of prison, like it was with me. How an angel just comes down, the bonds break off, and the angel says, "Here, walk this way." There, you're out of the jail. Something like that. So, somebody that I owe a lot to, you're going to get out of jail. And I know when usually like if Kryon's gonna say something like that, it comes true, because he said you're gonna be. He said to me, you're going to be like when Lee talks about dictators or whatever, benevolent dictator. It's like you're going to be some kind of benevolent dictator type thing. And I said, Howard, what are you talking about? I'm being managed. My life is being micromanaged. And it's like my family's trying to kill me and I don't understand. What are you talking about? This was before I caught on to that they were actually trying to deliberately kill me in a way that I didn't know that they were trying to kill me. When I figured it out, they just went all out, like, oh, okay, she knows we're trying to assassinate her slowly, so let's just try and do it fast then. So everybody has been fighting a good fight. And well, since we all create our own realities, I won't wonder about that. But you see, one thing I did apparently with all of this before I showed up here as an Arcturian, was doing the simulations to help us strategically figure out how to make ourselves down to Earth successfully, because the Pleiadians had been trying and were all getting enslaved, and so there was there were the Arcturians finally going in after World War II. Pretty much was the big thing. Like, okay, we'll go in there because that's not okay. The whole World War II thing now. So too many people are screaming for help. We have to go now. Apparently, what I did was I was one of the main people doing the configurations for how we would get our people in there, like a military type thing, like a tactical military specialist. And I said to Kryon, do you mean I joined the military or something? And he said, well, you guys don't really call it a military. And I said, oh, you mean the Galactic Federation of Light? But I mean, we have a part that's like a military, but it's like but it's not like the military. But it handles the U.S. military. So what I did though was probability simulation is what they told me it was called. The simulating the probabilities of different events in different places at different times and along different timelines and different things like that. Apparently, I was so good at it that I ended up, structuring various different scenarios for kind of like this part of the way the reptilians do their program, the way their program sets off in different places, different times. It was like I'd figured out, okay, if we get into, I had like a bunch of different backup type scenarios in mind for, okay, we have these people here at this time, we've got her here, we've got him here, we've got him here, we've got her here, her here, over there, all these people there, we have this, it was like playing Battleship or something, but, or like playing chess with 20 different chessboards, and the chessboard, is like say like a cube that you're playing chess on all sides of it, and there are a bunch of them all around the room, and you're playing chess with all of them at the same time with a computer. It's you versus the computer, and you are having to set up configurations for all of these different scenarios to win, to what we would call what a human would call to win. What they would call to get what they would want to be preferred, which would be peace and love and light and harmony, rather than us being like this. I mean, I was a pretty crappy human before knowing anything about being an Arcturian. Now I know that I'm not a pretty crappy human because I did not sell out. I just flat out refused. I mean, I got told on a literal piece of paper that, okay, yeah, that my mom or whoever was going to make $80 off, or I would make $80. Somebody was going to make $80 off of my soul, off of getting my soul or something. And I remember looking at the paper, and this is totally a Nietzsche type thing to do, looking at the paper and saying, $80? What? like, excuse me, it should be $1 million or something like that. It's so like him to do that. But, I did, for a second, think, only $80? And I'm in the middle of, like, dying, and, look at that and think, excuse me, you're selling myself for only $80? How dare you? Yeah, it's like, she really was that guy in the past, wasn't she? She really was that guy. But I'm not nearly as much of a dickhead as I was back then. I was really hard to be around, apparently, back then. Mostly because I was in so much pain all the time. But now, like, having a different version, also knowing of different people that I've apparently been, or different skill sets that I've had, the Nietzsche stuff, that's really fun because it's so recent and it's really fun. But some going into the older stuff is very interesting, very intriguing. But like, I'm gonna say it again, it's like, okay, I completely predicted or I didn't predict it. I didn't say like, oh maybe, as Nietzsche. I was saying there's going to be an Übermensch, like, that will emerge, the Übermensch. And he kept on saying to me, you are the Übermensch. You're the Übermensch. You're the Übermensch. You're going to, he said you're going to be the Übermensch. And I thought, okay, you're crazy, because he was saying it in his, like, crazy Nietzsche way, which sounds kind of like me. And I thought, just, okay, you're crazy, whatever. But that was almost exactly a year ago. He was right. He was straight up right. He was right. Because I'm sitting here, and I am one. What else I can talk about? Talked to Scott Adams today. The song, so John Lennon's, Jim, you channeled John Lennon. Yeah, I put that up on Facebook, because John Lennon was like, Jim channel, like, as I'm walking through the grocery store, on the mission boycott the grocery store, I'm playing the music. I'm not really paying attention to what I was playing, but it was the Beatles, and I Am the Walrus comes on, and suddenly I just someone walking next to me, and he says, just listen to this the whole time. Just don't do anything except listen to this, and just get what you need to get and walk out. And in an accent that I can't really do, but like a Britishy kind of accent. And as I was, he just said, listen to this, just completely listen to this, and do what you have to do, and then walk out. And so I'm listening to Mrs. Policeman, pretty little policeman in a row. Oh, I'm crying. So, custard dripping from a dead dog's eye. Pornographic priestess, Tuesday man, you've been a naughty girl. What he is he's talking back reptilian gibberish. That's what he's doing. He said, now you know the secret behind I Am the Wall. Now you know the secret behind I Am the Walrus. Tell Jim that, if he thinks he wants to channel me. So John Lennon was also a Type 5. I don't know anything about John Lennon's personality, but he came off, when I was younger, I remember thinking, that guy seems like an asshole, but he's really cool. So I know that, like, I've called myself the endearing bitch or something. Apparently, I'm endearing to some people, but also like a bitch. And I can see, like, how I'm a bitch. But, to me it seems preferred, just like how John Lennon said, I'm not going to be singing She Loves Me when I'm 30, and he didn't. I said, I'm not gonna sell my soul, I am going to live, and I did, and that's, like, the mystery behind I'm the Walrus, that is so cool. Being the person to know the mystery behind I Am the Walrus. So he told me he wrote that song because he was really, really, really fed up with it. He said, I was like you. And also Scott Adams too, the guy who wrote Dilbert, he's dead. If you tried to look this up, it would say it's still alive, but no, he's actually dead. And my mom was the one who said that, who was all in on all this stuff. It was after he wrote God's Debris. Then my mom ended up saying, "Oh, Scott Adams, he died." Oh yeah, he lived in Danville. So I'll tell you, John Lennon. So first, John Lennon. This was before I left at Scott Adams thing. But while I'm at the grocery store, John Lennon said, "You tell Jim that that he thinks he can channel me. Now you know the secret behind I Am the Walrus. I am the Eggman. I am the Eggman. I am the Walrus. Cuckoo, choo." It's just he's supposed to be talking total gibberish, so that he's not harmed or affected by the reptilian, quote, mirror magic and different stuff that they do and mind control. He wrote that as a song, like, anti-mind control song, and that's the joke. That's the entire joke behind I Am the Walrus. That's what I'm the Walrus is. It's anti-programming song. So yes, and okay, and then Scott Adams. This was really, really cool. I was standing there after I'd figured out before people had issues with me announcing, oh, hey, I'm a queen. Um, I was sitting there, and this was just the synchronistic thing, the way your thoughts will coordinate with reality and such. And I thought, oh, where's God's debris? Well, whenever I need to find it, I'll find it. And then right there, my head goes down, and oh, there it is. And okay, oh, good, thank you. Thank you. I just open it up, and something tells me, hey, go read the part. I was thinking to myself that I wanted the book because I wanted the part at the back. I kept reading this to the reptilians, and it would say, there's young delivery guys, and you were in the middle of this war that happened, and everybody just stopped fighting all of a sudden, and no one knows why, but you were there. You were there. Why did everyone stop fighting? And then it's then it says, put another log on the fire, and I'll tell you. And see, that's the idea behind that is, if you've read God's Debris, which I know most of you, if you're spying on me or whatever, looking at me, have read it because it's really cool. What that means is, oh, now you're the Avatar. And I was just getting pushed. Hey, go read it. Go read. That phrase again. Those sentences again. Hey, you were there, and everybody just stopped fighting for some reason, and no one knows why. There are all these ideas, but with secret pacts among world leaders, but you were there. How did everyone stop fighting? And see, the thing is, the Avatar is very secretive. That was another like inside joke at me. Be it about, hey, stop saying so much stuff, or you'd be a little bit better at this. So I read through. He says that, put another log on the fire, and I'll tell you. And I realize I'm holding the book, and I realize, wait, I am now holding this book, and I am the Avatar. I am the Avatar. And the book is signed. You see, the book is hand signed by Scott Adams. And Scott Adams said, do you like my signature on the front? And then he explained to me this book. The book was like a channeling to him, that it would somehow help somebody, the people after him. Like that he said, Krista, I was the front of the Sunday Times. How do you think I was doing that? Just because people liked it? and I was like, oh, well, okay. But you were smart. You worked over there at Pac Bell, when the place was Pac Bell across from the Chevron headquarters. There's nothing really there now. But he said, yeah, I want it out. I want it out, and I got this message, write this book, and it's the only non-funny thing he's ever written. It's the only serious thing he ever wrote. He said, you can see how I had to write it really carefully, but I was told on that one day, do you remember the way they talked to you in the store? And I said, yeah, they said you just showed up and signed books, and it wasn't planned or anything. He said, yeah, that's because an angel told me go to the store and sign the books, and the ones that are signed will end up in the right hands, who really, really need them. And yeah, right next to my own home. I'm glad you like it. And being the only person in my home. in my greater area, kind of being the only person um, who doesn't appear to be totally mindless, or who is attempting to do something about it. Scream from the rooftops if necessary. I mean, do something about it. Find some other human who is unhappy, or who is still a human, or still can think, or understands that they're human or something. Um, to fix this. I thought, well, okay, wow, that's so some people there had this stuff in mind a long time ago. I thought, when was that? What year was that I got this? And I look at it and I thought I got it right after it was, right after it came out, because I loved Scott Adams. I followed him a lot. And I saw in there 2001. And I think I might have been, I thought I was 16, but I would have been younger than 16 in 2001. I might have been 14. I think I was probably 15 or so, but that's your magic number. 12, 11, and 12 magic numbers years ago. And so I thought, wow, that's the reason why I've always, after almost being possessed, the book got really modeled, or it would be worth a lot more with its signature and everything. But after that, I would not want to sell it, because he intended it for me, or it was intended for the people who would end up getting them. Signed by him, saying, "Hey, yeah, high five, guys, you're doing a great job. Keep it up." So, guys, you're doing a great job. High five. Keep it up.